I made your portrait whilst you were in the next room, laughing at something your little sister had just told you. I don't remember what was it about, but I recall your real smile when you told me about it later on. Not very much like the one I had brushed up with ink and watercolor. I imagine your lips opening wide and picture them considering your tongue, its fleshy and wet outline, and concluding that I could never do justice to it with other than my tongue. So just a bit of teeth, the upper part, poking underneath the red lip. The same teeth that appear in all your father's nightmares, and which have cost you so dearly, so much in fright and money raised from will and many scratches, and almost nothing more. No past, no cushion, no interest, no debt. The spark of happiness at the narrow cornerstone of your eyelids, broadening them to light, to catch it, as soon as it will come up from the right hand frontier of the page with the thin air. We both breathe at this high, and your crazy hair playing with your ears as a fabulous child of Dionysius. And someone from the midst of the Bacchantes. And it wasn't unlike the arguments we are used to have. All context and jumping in the water without checking its latest infestation of piranhas. Just hoping for the best. And in the end, just enacting the worstest case scenario and damaging the goods, so we must pay back, like when you play again the game of death, of deceiving yourself in a self seeking and destroying circle, a circus of your mind, crowded with hair raising ghost clowns. Whilst I seek the playfulness of life, the organism of joy in which we are, part of the code and part of the survival, part of the wheel and vessel for the wheel, and where each game can start anew, with no score left behind, nor other kind of leverage or ballast. While you feel and you sense and refeel and resent and construct and adore false idols of the truth, whilst I just try to have some new roots in the ground, without pretending all the minerals and water of truth. While you feel that my love is not right here, just because I don't love like a depressed teenager, with the longing for your presence that the muscles have for the salty rock against which they will stay, forever or for death, which comes before. Whilst I try to say something, some old phrase, some same old stuff that I've told you before, for it's the only way, the simplest way I know. Repeat the obvious. The truth that my own eyes, as myopic as yours, as myopic and folded down the lane to several rock bottoms, with the glasses of years of pain and talks about the costs of pain in blood and tears and scars and hate are capable of grasping. Without forgetting, though, that it's not the whole picture, but a dip in the spectrum. And from that spectrum only some rays are known to us. Like from the masses we run into on the streets, only a few will ever be tangible to us. Do you remember how my heart came easy, slicker to your arms that you posed as repose, but proposed other poisons? Well, I'm afraid that maybe that's how I caught this fever, this transparent conundrum or reality as it presents itself to me and other sharers, the dialoguing crew as a net of perspectives, a very naughty one, we snarl together and try to unsnarl together. Because alone is a labyrinth of mirrors, fog, and sorrow, from which a minotaur can't escape without the wax and feathers and rope and that someone else already used to fly away and up. And if the varmint flies low, it could even be able to make it out this time. But after all the measurements, a bookcase a bit taller than myself, brought on a small wheelbarrow, from IKEA to bus stop to bus to park to gravel to street to street to street to back alley to stairway to elevator to your tiny apartment that I tried to make into a nest from the crumbling fortress of solitude it was. A nest for you and me. You've just called me a cuckoo as you torn down to shreds the bamboo paper I had drawn you on and let them fly down on the ground just by opening a bit your hands so slow. And I, that have been named with many a heavy name, like I was mythological, a pants on fire liar, a mute, a ghost, a rabbit in the hole, a son of nothing good, a father of depression, a summoner of jinx, a portrayer of guilty and nasty truths, a conveyor of gloom, a plain and selfish boy, a fat ass, and a loser. After putting up for decades with words solid as punches, with pain through meditation about suggested subjects, with this same stamping from different kinds of fists. I get to the end indictment, lose my temper, and hit you. And you hit back. And I've become the monstrous minotaur that I was while I grew up in the web of shrinks, the womb of wounds. And then I become still. But there's no silence. For my breath prays blocking out whatever you are yelling. And whilst I ran away to the kitchen, the balcony, a cigarette, and these words forming in my mind, I remember the last time and the time after that, and the other before. And not because I'm somewhat saint, and not because I say so, so you say, but just because I've been there and have done worse than you. And all the other times in dialogue and laughter, and that I'm warned from warning you away as better as I could, the lonely way. It's not the only way, and all the wounds of sunrise, and all the sunset wounds can blossom in new flesh, in almost renewed organs, new tissues, and new mountains, and valleys without form other than those of our tiny footprints.